American people in general are begging for a leader to stand up and do exactly what you said. Speak straight to them, be funny, be strong. And at this point, a certain segment of the society, unfortunately, it's a large portion of the society, will take that even over truth.
Hi, this is your Project Management Cowboy coming back to you with another podcast. This time, we're going to take a look at leadership again. We've done a couple podcasts on the topic of leadership, and we're always kind of looking for a new angle to address. And I'm always looking at my network of incredibly valuable and experienced managers and leaders. And I'm really excited about this podcast because we're going to talk about leadership, and we're going to talk about the leadership that we all love to complain about, and that is the leadership in politics. I call this complaining in proxy, which means we're great at pointing out how politicians fall short of their responsibilities, and we're going to kind of delve into this in a kind of critical but constructive way. Purpose for all of you out there who are not politicians, right? This is something for you as well, is to ask yourself, how, if you reflect upon this, what does this mean for you and your company? Okay. I've got a sensational guest on board, Mr. Todd Weiler, who will be introducing himself in just a little bit. I've known Todd for a long, long time. I have the pseudonym PM Cowboy, but if you're going to talk about cowboys, I think his pedigree goes much, much deeper. Todd, I think, aren't you like, how many generations Texan are you?
Oh, wow. I guess three.
Three?
Yeah.
3 or 4? And you come from, I don't know if we would call it the heartland, but you come from a part of Texas that's hardcore, right? Midland, yeah, Odessa.
West Texas.
Right?
In the oil fields.
Where the Bushes moved to as well, although you don't have much in common with them. We can maybe talk about the difference there. Todd, welcome on board. As it is tradition with our podcast, we always want to respect the people we bring on board, and also the listeners, and kind of let them get a little bit of an insight of who you are and what your background is. You've got an amazing pedigree when it comes to different forms of leadership. If I recall correctly, Todd, you also studied political science.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes, that's one thing we had in common, right?
That's
so
right.
Go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and what brought you to where you are now and what you're doing now.
Sure. I'm Todd Weiler. I am a native Texan, as you admirably pointed out there. Grew up in West Texas in Midland, and as a very young man, probably was one of a half a dozen Democrats in the great.
You're a rare species in Midland.
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, in elementary school, I went to school carrying a Jimmy Carter sign, and
oh my gosh, you must have gotten all sorts of heck
in my life. That was the first beating I ever got, but not the last. So at a very young age, and I think probably because of my mother was very active, I got into politics, got interested in politics, went out and campaigned from being a very, very young boy. Went through high school, had great grades, and got a scholarship. And my brother, who went to Texas Tech, said, "You got a scholarship. Don't go to Tech. Go someplace really good." So I said, "Okay, let's go find a place." I landed at TCU.
Was it the RTC scholarship you got, right?
I actually got an academic scholarship, and then I got the ROTC scholarship.
Okay. Yeah, that's also one angle that we know each other from.
That's right. And at that time, I was very interested in language. And so I thought I want to be in intelligence and do languages, because I had studied French and German in high school and really enjoyed it. So I went to the Air Force, and they said, "No, not interested. If you don't want to fly, we're not interested in you." I said, "Okay." So then I went over to the Army ROTC office,
which is right across the street.
Well, thank you. Right away. So went through college, and as you probably remember, we went on a field training exercise as cadets one time and went in a helicopter. And I said, "Wow. This is it. I need."
That was awesome. I remember that.
So that was.
It was Apocalypse Now scenery. Yeah.
That's
With
right.
all the good parts, none of the negative parts. Yeah.
None of the
Yeah.
negative parts. That's right. So I did that. We went to flight school. We were commissioned in the reserve component. I went to flight school, finished at the top of the class, hoped to become active duty. That didn't happen. I went back home and wrote every single senator and congressperson. And finally, from all of those letters, and if you recall back in those days, there was no email. It
Yeah.
was
It was all
literally
snail
me
mail.
writing letters. And I got a response from Dick Gephardt one day, a phone call. He wasn't my congressman, but he just happened to be the leader in the House for the Democratic Party. And he called and said, the Army's going to be calling you in a few minutes.
Very cool.
I said, wow, great. Sounds great. So then they called me and I was off to active duty in the Army. Flew helicopters in the first Gulf War with the 101st. Left there. And at that time, I flew Cobras. So we were transitioning to Apache helicopters. The offer was made, stay Apache and owe us 6 more years, stay in the Cobra and go to Korea a lot, or get out.